Now, your forecast first from the 4-Zone Weather Team, certified most accurate.
Well, it is a hot, humid day in progress here on this Thursday. We've got a mix of clouds and sun, not much rain in the area, and that temperature as advertised right around 90 degrees. Right now it's 89, 93 in Seguin, Gonzales, New Braunfels, 90 degrees. Well, there's our big system now in the process of moving through the southwest. It is ready to bring storms across our skies tomorrow night. Big complex of storms ready to rumble across. There's a risk of some severe weather, flooding. We're going to break this down for you here coming up. News 4 San Antonio starts right now.
As the clock ticks down to Election Day, the downtown arena debate continues. Both sides taking shots to reach as many voters as possible before they go to the polls.
And at the live desk, deputies say he showed up at a house and walked away with thousands. Now he is at the center of a fraud investigation against the elderly. The clues that could help catch him next.
Then the White House East Wing, now rubble, to make room for a ballroom. How the White House is defending the president's decision. And the end of an era for a local gym. Good Time Charlie's closing its doors after 46 years. The news catching locals by surprise.
I already knew what I wanted, and then now you're telling me it's closed?
Why the owners decided it was time and who it's being sold to.
News 4 San Antonio at 5. We're here for you.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Mandy Noel. Tonight, we watch for storms rolling into our area in the next 24 hours. Right now, things outside look clear, but that won't be the case tomorrow night into Saturday. Chief Meteorologist Chris Suchan tracking the storms. When can we expect to see some rain and how much, Chris?
Well, the window to watch, Mandy, is going to be tomorrow night. And I really believe it's after most of our high school football games. So that's a big question I've been getting. It's going to be while you sleep predominantly in terms of that window of timing here for everything tomorrow night. This is the severe weather outlook tomorrow into early Saturday. Now, this is from the morning tomorrow through the lunch hour. This is really tomorrow night, late evening into the overnight. Level 2 out of 5 severe weather risk, Comal County. About half of Bexar County, almost half of Bexar County now, down into Uvalde and to Del Rio. Scattered instances of strong winds possible, very isolated on the large hail potential, and the tornado risk is really low, and it mainly is way out to the west here. So that's Friday night into early Saturday. And then on Saturday itself into Saturday night, the focus really shifts to the Houston area. Also our eastern zone counties on Saturday, a little bit of the Austin area too. The rest of this, I'm not really expecting to see much severe weather in and around the rest of the region, including Bexar County on Saturday. And that again is for strong winds, hail, and maybe a tornado risk way out to the east. In terms of the flood potential, we now have a level 2 out of 4 flood risk down into Bexar County in the Highway 90 corridor to the north across the hill country. This is where there's scattered occurrences of some flooding, and then it's much more isolated in that level 1 out of 4. So kind of give you an idea, this is the timing, 8:30. You can see the big complex of storms coming into Edwards County, to Valverde County, Rock Springs, as seen here. There are some strong wind gusts, and then we'll continue to see strong gusts as this big complex is coming into Bernie, to Hondo, Uvalde. That's about 10:30 to 11 o'clock tomorrow night. You don't hit a lot of hail in that signature, but you would get a lot of wind and a lot of lightning. And you can see them coming right over Bexar County, 1 to 2 in the morning. That's heavy rain. There is some flooding risk there across the county while you're sleeping in the middle of the night. A lot of lightning, and still could get some strong gusts from that here. Of course, we're going to talk about how much rain from all of this. That's straight ahead.
In anticipation of the rain, Northside ISD announced tonight high school football games scheduled to start at 7:30 tomorrow at their stadiums will instead start at 7 p.m. That includes the Harlan versus Taft game at Gus Stadium and the Stevens versus Brennan game at Ferris Stadium. Also new at 5, the clock is winding down to one of the most important elections in San Antonio's history. Voters will decide on a major funding piece for a new downtown arena. Both sides in full court press to reach as many voters as possible. News 4 San Antonio's Phil Sterling is live with both sides of the debate.
After the Spurs' decisive victory in their season opener, it was a full court press from those for and those against the proposed Prop A and B and how they are funded. But what is fact and fiction is still being debated.
It was very unclear in the beginning.
Bexar County voter Randy Hasso says despite clashing messages around Propositions A and B for the Spurs Arena and rodeo grounds, it's time for people to decide.
This is a very important vote.
It's why organizations like the Community of Churches for Social Action and even the Spurs majority owner, Peter Holt, have stood up to fight misinformation.
Mainly about how it's going to be paid for.
And on the same day, multiple community groups, including Cops Metro, have also taken a stand saying this venue tax increase could be used for other things, a point of disagreement.
This is a tax that's paid for by visitors.
Spurs officials disagree, saying this money can only be used for tourism-related projects, even if it's related to infrastructure. It can only be used to put heads in beds. But Cops Metro officials also say if the arena is built, there will be a domino cost.
$250 million for the infrastructure around the arena and a parking garage, paid for by our property taxes.
According to Councilwoman Sue Kakur, we actually don't know how much this will cost, and the infrastructure will have to be paid for even without the arena.
We're still going to receive that same funding at the same level that we've already always received in our city.
Meanwhile, opponents of Prop A and B have filed an ethics complaint with the San Antonio City Attorney's Office outlining a concern with what they say is a coordinated one-side communication between City Council members and the Win Together campaign. It remains to be seen what will happen with the complaint. Phil Sterling reporting live from the Content Center, News 4 San Antonio.
Early voting is happening right now. As of today, over 33,200 people have voted early. Polls are open until 6 today. Early voting ends October 31st. Election day is November 4th. Questioning a detective's credibility at the center of some heated moments in the courtroom today in the trial of 3 former San Antonio police officers charged in a woman's shooting death. Alfred Flores, Elazar Alejandro, and Nathaniel Villalobos are charged in Melissa Perez's death. Prosecutors say they used excessive force during a mental health call at her apartment in 2023. SAPD homicide detective Deanna Platt took the stand today. She testified she was called in to help the investigation. The defense says her answers were incomplete and untruthful, arguing she didn't fully investigate. They also brought up a temporary suspension from 10 years ago about an accident report, saying she failed to investigate a collision properly.
A witness opens the door to their prior bad acts, it's admissible. I think this court, on that basis alone, should allow this because she's put herself in a false light, trying to say I did a complete fair investigation when in fact she didn't.
The state says she never testified that she did a full investigation, arguing there's no basis to impeach her as a witness. The judge allowed the defense to ask the detective about her suspension, but did not allow the admission of a document regarding the accident report. A man who was in the country illegally, accused of shooting a Marine veteran in San Antonio, went before a judge today. The discussion centered around the weapon used in the crime and the gunshot residue analysis, which attorneys are still waiting to receive. Wilmar Ortega Ruiz is charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Ortega is an undocumented immigrant. He was arrested at least 3 times in Bexar County and was released each time. The shooting was back in May at the El Patio Sports Bar on the west side. Marine Corps veteran Jimmy Friesenheim was working as a security guard at the bar that night. After a struggle, Friesenheim was shot in the neck and left paralyzed. He's now hospitalized in Houston. A judge set December 2nd as the next court date. Well, several pets were rescued today from a major apartment fire on the northeast side. Sky 4 caught exclusive video of the fire at the Silver Ridge Apartments. That's off Quail Creek Drive near Northeast Loop 410. Fire officials say the fire started in one upstairs apartment and spread to another. They believe the cause was electrical. 2 apartments were damaged and 6 saw smoke and water damage. Tonight, fire and apartment management are working to get those impacted relocated.
Melissa Vega at the live desk. Well, happening right now, the Bexar County Sheriff's Office releasing some new pictures of a man they are asking the public to help identify. Deputies say he showed up to a home and he's accused of walking away with $30,000 from an elderly victim under false pretenses. The man in question, the Bexar County Sheriff's Office says is a person of interest in an ongoing financial fraud investigation. Investigators say it was back on Friday, October 3rd. The man in these pictures went to a home on the far west side along Preserve Trail near Shanefield Road. He's accused of collecting $30,000 from the elderly victim under false pretenses related to an online investment. So deputies also say he went to that far west side home in a gray vehicle pictured here. So anyone with any information is asked to call the Bexar County Sheriff's Office right away. That is the latest from the Life Desk. Mandy?
Thanks, Melissa. The White House East Wing is demolished to make way for the construction of President Trump's new ballroom. The president initially said the project would not interfere with the existing White House structure. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says she made it clear early on the West Wing would need to be modernized. Leavitt says the estimated cost of the project is $300 million, but says it's being funded by the president and private donors. The East Wing was previously used as workspace for first ladies and their staffs to plan events and promote causes. A major scandal rocks the NBA just as the new season is tipping off. More than 30 people arrested as authorities bust a major gambling operation, some current players and coaches among those arrested. And a crypto conviction overturned by a presidential pardon. Why this latest pardon by President Trump is generating a lot of controversy. And a San Antonio icon closes for good. One of the most recognizable and cherished restaurants along the Broadway corridor serves its last customer. The reasons behind the decision that caught a lot of people off guard.
And our best rain chance in a month and a half is almost here, and it'll come in the form of some pretty noisy thunderstorms. How much rain will we see across our area? And oh, by the way, we got a strong cold front in the 7-day forecast. That's coming up.
You're watching News 4 San Antonio.
Making headlines tonight, a scandal in the NBA after the Portland Trail Blazers head coach and a Miami Heat player were arrested in a federal sports betting probe. Chauncey Billups and Terry Rozier are among more than 30 people arrested in the probes into illegal sports betting and rigged poker games, allegedly backed by the mafia. FBI Director Kash Patel says multiple crime families were involved. The alleged fraud was highly lucrative. The NBA previously investigated Rozier, and it's still looking into former Detroit Pistons player Malik Beasley. President Trump has pardoned a convicted crypto executive. Changpeng Zhao, the co-founder of Binance, pleaded guilty to money laundering in 2023. Binance also agreed to pay more than $4 billion in fines and penalties. The move is seen as controversial by some who point to the Trump family's ties to the crypto world. The Trump administration defended the decision, saying Zhao was targeted by the Biden administration.
And happening now, Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick calling for a shakeup at the Alamo. Why he's calling for the president of the Alamo Trust to resign next. And back to the Live Desk. Happening right now, we are learning tonight Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick is calling for a shakeup at the Alamo. He is calling on the president of the Alamo Trust, the organization that runs the historic site, to resign over her past writings. Patrick sent a letter to the Alamo Trust Board of Directors saying that he was made aware of what he calls troubling writings by Alamo Trust President and CEO Kate Rogers, who at the time of the writings was not president but executive director. Well, Patrick claims the writings are incompatible with the telling of the history of the Alamo. So we're working to gather more information for you. We've also reached out to the Alamo Trust for comment, as the Lieutenant Governor also saying that he informed Rogers of the writings in questions and suggested that she offer her resignation before the board considers the matter. And it was just earlier this month, the Texas Land Commissioner called out the Alamo Trust on social media for a post for what she called a, quote, woke Indigenous Peoples Day post on the same day as Columbus Day. Mandy?
Thanks, Melissa. Some bittersweet news today. The end of an era for a popular local restaurant. After 46 years, Good Time Charlie's has closed its doors.
Now what do we do? Now where do we go? Who's got steak? Who's got that steak con queso that tastes so good here?
Where do we go? We need a survey. We got to get this lady some ideas. So the news caught a lot of people by surprise, and our cameras caught people walking up to the restaurant's doors to find them closed. It marks the end of an era for San Antonio Gem, but it's also a new beginning. The owners sold a property to their neighbors, the Duceum, to support its growth. Co-owner of the restaurant, Good Time Charlie's, says it was time.
We love the restaurant business. It's nothing about the restaurant business or Good Time Charlie's caused this to close. What caused it to close was the fact that it's time for my business partner and I to move on.
The restaurant's last day of service was yesterday.
Now your certified most accurate four-zone weather with Chief Meteorologist Chris Suchan.
All right, let's head out with our temperatures and start off with our four-zone weather watchers here. Every 5 o'clock newscaster, I always like to talk to our weather watchers here and show you their reports. We've got Bill Vane in West San Antonio with 91 degrees. How about Corey Frazier? Welcome to the club here. Lavernia, 91 the temperature. And you can see on our Raobi Rodriguez Law Weather Cam View, 89 right now in San Antonio, right around the 90-degree mark, which was the forecast high for the day. And those clouds are not producing a lot of rain. We have a couple little sprinkles and little showers through the day in our eastern zone. There you see one right now in Lavaca County, a couple of random little drops here. But that will be changing in a big way here before long. So, and of course with the drought update today, this rain that's ready to come in couldn't come in any sooner. You see the extreme drought conditions expanding in our area. Severe, extreme, and exceptional, the worst categories here of the drought monitor in our backyard. Well, here it is, the big driver for this weather event. This is what we labeled as our next weather maker, and it's almost here, and it's ready to take a path a little bit further south, which really helps us out. We don't want to go too far north for rain chances, so right now that track still looks very good. Timing really hasn't changed much. 10 o'clock in the evening, especially out west, to about 6 in the morning Saturday. I see the risk for strong winds of 45 to 60 miles an hour in these storms, or a little higher. The hail potential, it's there, but it's more isolated. Frequent lightning, and of course there's a little bit of a localized flooding risk as well here. Just to show you the two outlooks for the strong to severe storm risk here, this is going to be for really late tomorrow night into Saturday morning, level 1, level 2 out of 5 risk in our area. A little bit of Bexar County here as well for wind and maybe hail, and then it shifts to the east there on Saturday towards the Houston area and our eastern zone counties in particular here. In terms of the flooding risk, we definitely have that, level 1, 2 out of 4 from the Weather Prediction Center. And you notice it does include a little bit of Bexar County. So here's the timing of this. Tomorrow, overall, we're not going to see big impacts. It's a hot, humid day, 20-30% rain chance from Bexar County to the east, but not much. Then the evening, you see coming into Rock Springs, 8:30, Del Rio, Kerrville to Bernie to Bandera, Honda, that is 10:30 to 11 o'clock. There would be some strong gusts packed into this complex, as you see. And then over Bexar County, still could get some gusts. It's actually going a little further south too, but that's some big time rainfall. Very stormy night. And you notice that's 1 to 2 in the morning. So when most are trying to enjoy a night's sleep here, that's going to be raining, lightning, and thunder is going to be booming out there. And then a little leftover rain. And then notice Saturday, really trending pretty dry overall here. So I have a lowered rain chance for Saturday. But this is how much rain we would see. I still like a ½ inch to 1.5 inches plus. But that's based on what you just saw, very generous rain across our area. So your Friday planner, 71 to 89, 10-20% rain chance. And of course, make sure our 4-Zone Weather app, it's on your smartphone or your tablet. It's a free download. It'll keep you ahead of the weather. If there are warnings issued, you could track the storms Friday night as they're coming in. But again, extremely valuable tool that we offer to you here if you're away from News 4. So weather alert day for, again, Friday night to first part of Saturday. The rest of the weekend really looks pretty good. And then there's that strong cold front next Tuesday. Look at those temperatures in the 70s and yes, 40s for morning lows next Thursday in San Antonio. Western zone, again, tomorrow evening, early Friday night. Some storms for you, hill country. In the evening, Friday night, that's when that storm chance will really go up. And here's our eastern zone extended forecast with that storm chance on Saturday. Mandy?
Donna's off. Zach is here. I need a bigger box. 1 down, 81 to go for the Spurs.
Yeah, Mandy, a lot of Spurs fans, people in general, really buzzing about Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs just dominating the Mavericks on opening night. A record-setting night for Wemby, and he sent a message to the rest of the NBA. You'll hear about it straight ahead.
Thomas J. Henry Sports Desk.
I think we've just about run out of superlatives to describe the Spurs' impressive win against the Dallas Mavericks last night. Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs were out to prove a point on opening night, and the French phenom delivered it emphatically. First game in 8 months after being sidelined with a blood clot, and Wemby scored 21 points in the first half. Victor making it look easy, showing off every trick in the bag. He passed George the Iceman Gervin for the most points scored by a Spurs player in a season opener with 40. As the Spurs cruise to a 33-point win over the Mavs. Wemby sending a message to the rest of the NBA. This is just the beginning.
I felt like this is what we've been working on. This is what we struggled. This is what we've been working for. This is what we struggled for so long. You know, we needed to make a statement in our locker room. You know, I felt like I needed to make a statement to my teammates. It feels like it's time to move on to the next step, and we need to make a statement because we're all tired of losing. That's the truth. It's also just the beginning, you know, because there's so much more I want to add to my game.
Spurs getting back to work tomorrow on the road, taking on the Pelicans. They lost to the Memphis Grizzlies in their opener. Tip-off from the Big Easy is set for just after 7 o'clock. Former Spurs player Tiago Splitter getting his chance as an interim head coach. He's been an assistant in the NBA since 2019. Splitter's going to be in charge of the Portland Trail Blazers after their head coach Chauncey Billups was arrested in connection with that FBI sports betting investigation.
The Beluga Air Friday Night Fever Play of the Week.
Time to reveal the winner of our Play of the Week poll, and it's this 75-yard bomb for the Piper Warriors. Cash Lancaster getting hit right in stride, helping Piper upset the previously unbeaten New Braunfels Unicorns. Lancaster just getting over half of the vote, pretty evenly split between Jermaine Carson of Sam Houston and Dre Voss from Southwest. Thanks to everyone who voted. We'll be right back.